All right, I have a thesis tonight, and I'm going to defend my thesis throughout the entirety of this video. What I want to do is explain to you two things, which is first and foremost that the future of mobile gaming is actually looking pretty bright. There's a lot of things coming up into the future that look awesome, but on top of it, there's a lot of things that literally have come out recently that is changing the entire genre of gacha gaming, okay? And number two, it's going to be really hard or literally impossible for Raid to be able to do what the gacha games are becoming and have already become with some of the latest ones. So let's get into that and explain everything that I mean in this video. Like the video, subscribe, all of that garbage that YouTubers do in the beginning of every video. And let's roll the long, annoying dubstep intro. No, I just can't. Here we go. So I've been trying some other games lately, and there's something that's blindingly clear is not in Raid Shadow Legends. And to be honest, it's something I didn't even know I wanted in a gacha game until I started playing some other games. And of course, I'm speaking to what Clan vs. Clan should have been, which is player interaction. There's been a few games I've been playing lately, like I just tried the new My Hero's Academia, for instance, and I've also been playing Summoner's Glory, as people know, because I promoted that using code Darth Micro. And the reason I started to enjoy these games was because I realized while you're playing the game, the aspect that you can see the other players around you and that you can directly interact with them is actually a pretty big deal. In games even like Guardian Tales, you can't see all the players while you're running around, but if you're in your guild hall, you do actually see the players. There's an attack dummy you can attack, which will show people exactly how much damage you're doing. There's a ranking system based upon that. You can actually co-op with people. There's also live PvP, so you can live PvP against other people. And then there's another form of automated PvP. Now, this is something My Hero Academia has as well. And this isn't a plug for the game. I'm not sponsored by My Hero Academia, but it's a new game that came out recently. And the thing is, the game is in such the style that I would normally hate the game. I'm not somebody who likes the anime style. I'm not even somebody that likes My Hero Academia. I actually don't like the anime. I find it rather annoying personally, but yet I find myself still playing the game. And as time went on, I had to ask myself, why is this? And without a doubt, it keeps coming back to the two different things, which is social interaction in a non-competitive form. You can see the other players. You can co-op with the other players to do raids. You can even auto-battle with the other players. And then live competitive form matchmaking, meaning I can directly fight somebody in almost a Mortal Kombat style live battle. Marvel Strike Force does this in live turn-based combat where you actually pick your turns against another person sitting there as well. So we know you can get that type of interaction in a game like Raid. And unfortunately, as time goes on, I found myself slowly less interested in Raid and more interested in the games like Summoner's Glory that are gachas, but as I walk around, I can see my other guild members. I can team up with my other clan members. I can do summoning parties with them. And this has been a turning point in what I would consider the reason I enjoy gachas. Originally, gachas were something that I enjoyed for the pure dopamine. I open something, I get the character I want. I think I learned my lesson with this when I went through Exos Heroes and spent almost $8,000 on Exos Heroes. And at one point, I spent $800 just to try to pull one character, which we didn't even pull. And in that moment, not only did I realize I like the gambling of gachas way too much, but even if I acquired the character, I couldn't then go and play with my friends with that character. And that was really a feels bad. One of my favorite games that I've said many times, and still my favorite game of all time, right next to Super Metroid, is RuneScape, in both its older form, and what it's become. And I love RuneScape almost entirely because as you build you just are your characters. You move around the map and you meet people, and your home is sort of with you at all times. And it really makes it feel like an actual world you're living in. And just the small amount that I've seen other players while I'm questing in games like My Hero Academia or Summoner's Glory has really changed my perspective so much that it's made me enjoy meeting new people and the competitive and non-competitive forms of player interaction more than the actual gacha system itself. Now, this could be said that there's a little bit of a change in my personality, maturity, whatever you want to say, within the last couple years, and I think there's some validity to that. I've grown, I think, in the last couple years as I've gone through a few things, but on top of it, I think it also has to do with the fact that the games are shifting their pivotal point of enjoyment. Gacha systems are always going to be there, but I'm seeing the new gachas monetize not so heavily on like the shard pulling gacha aspect and more so on other aspects of the game. And for this reason, I believe that it is in fact very possible to see the next generation of gachas coming. Games like Genshin Impact, where you can run around the world, meet other players, and put people in your party and co-op with them. That aspect of the game is so enjoyable. It drives monetization in and of itself. It makes you want to play with your friends with the character you see they have, or you want to get a new character to synergize with your best friend. There is other ways to pull money from the people instead of just pulling on the gambling tendencies of the game. And this is where Raid Shadow Legends comes into play on this story, because I do believe what Raid does better than all of the other gachas is the dopamine. I don't think there's a game on this planet that gets you as addicted to pulling the new characters like Raid does. And for that reason, Raid is always going to be the boiling down point of what we approximate gachas to be at essentially their most core, which is spending money or not spending money and waiting, and then getting a chance at something and seeing if you won that jackpot. The problem is gachas are evolving. I mean, they're no longer that. I mean, now, like Genshin Impact, the number one mobile game, it made like 100 million in its 2 weeks, or something crazy like that. I'm sure you can Google it, get the accurate number, but I think that might actually be right. And basically, they made back their entire investment it took to develop the game over years, like in the first 2 weeks. And a huge part of that reason is people, one, either want to flex on their friends, or two, people want to keep up with their friends. But there is none of that in Raid. The only time you actually remotely care is either one, you're watching a YouTuber and you want what they have. Two, you have a buddy that is your friend who's playing the game too, and at work or something, you can compare your accounts, because you can't do it in the game. You know what I mean? You can't even look at people's rosters in the game. The only thing you can see is their arena defense, which to me is just, for a company that really wants to monetize and everything, the fact that you can't look at the other people's roster to get jealous is stupid. You know what I mean? Like, that's just a missed opportunity. You know what I mean? They need to hire me as their monetization guy. I mean, honest to God, because like they miss so many blindingly clear monetization opportunities that people wouldn't even mind. Like, would you mind that? Think about it. Would you mind being able to see your friend's roster without them actually screenshotting it and throwing it in Discord? Why would you be mad at that option? But it would still make them more money. You know what I mean? So there is ways for them to do it without just being stupid greedy. But that's not the point. The point is games like Genshin and like My Hero Academia, even though I don't even like the anime, are going to be hard to keep up with coming into the future. And there's more and more of them coming out. All of them have player-based interaction or an MMO atmosphere. I can walk around in those games and literally see friends in the game and click on them and interact with them and 1v1 versus them. I mean, in Summoner's Glory, you can just straight up duel people. They even have a mastery system where it like shows you like your star rank of how strong you are basically in the game for you personally, so you can kind of flex that too. There's ways and reasons to be proud of your account in those games, which puts value behind building the account and spending on the account. It makes it something where you feel like you put an investment because you can see the growth of yourself versus another character. And that makes people want to spend more money. And we can see that because Genshin Impact is making the most money out of any gacha game. And I believe out of literally any mobile game right now. I mean, they're literally just crushing it. I think it was only like a month and a half where they had beat the yearly revenue for Raid already. And like the game had just came out. Because the truth is, after all we just talked about, and you go back into the game, you know, and here's the game, time to play this video game, you know, and you go in and you put in your characters. Here we go. And then you play this, you know, but then you grab your iPad while this is running and you start logging into these other games. And then you start liking these other games more than this game itself because you're sitting here watching this just autoplay the same dragon over and over again while you're playing like a cool interactive game with your friends on your other device. So, you know, it's pretty unbeatable when what you're watching right now is our version of player interaction. You know, you're watching us do Clan Boss, which is something that we literally do together, but not together. So this is the epitome of player interaction, really, other than the arena, which we all know has its own problems. Here you go. And, you know, compare that against actually walking around on the planet together with your actual real-life friend on cross-platform from his PlayStation while you're on your phone, and then you're like, hold on, let me switch to the PC client. Like, that's so... How do you fight that? Like that it's such a powerful platform to be able to go full MMO cross-platform like Genshin does. I mean, that's literally what Genshin does. You can do it on PlayStation, on your phone, on the PC, Android, iOS, doesn't matter. You can play with your buddies, doesn't matter. You know, it's just sick. It's just sick. You know, that's hard to beat going into the future. That's going to be really hard to beat because if you can do that and have all the aspects of a gacha, all the things we love about Raid, they get the graphics right, they get the gacha platform right, but then it has all the other stuff that we've talked about throughout this monologue. That, how do you beat that? You know what I mean? I mean, that it's really good. It's really, really good. And I'm realizing this more and more the more I play these games. So try out some other games because there's actually a pretty big surplus of fire mobile games right now, and the future of mobile games is actually looking like good.